Hello, and welcome back to Miss Corner News, where we take stories that affect you and me and we break them down in simple, clear language. If you are just joining us for the first time, please subscribe and like this video, and join in the conversation in the comment section. Now to the main story, let's talk about schools in Jigawa State. The government has announced that boarding students will resume on Sunday, September 7th, while day students will start classes on Monday, September 8th, 2025. At first glance, this looks like a routine announcement. Children going back to class, continuing their education. Good news, right? But if you talk to parents, if you listen to the people on ground, the story is much deeper. Parents are not celebrating resumption, and it's not just in Jigawa State, it is everywhere. Parents are lamenting. The cost of school fees is so high. Instead, many are crying out in frustration, saying that sending a child to school has become one of the hardest things to do in Nigeria today. Where is the lie? Think about it for a moment. Before you even step into the school gate to pay tuition, there are already a long list waiting for you. You must buy uniform, shoes, sandals. You have to replace them if they are old. Bags, socks, lunch boxes, and sometimes even sports kits. And then the biggest one, that wants to remove our head, is textbooks. Now here is where parents say the pain bites the most. In many schools, children are not allowed to reuse textbook. That means if your older child used the mathematics book last year, the younger one cannot inherit it. This was not how it used to be during our own time. During our own times, books were passed down to our siblings. But now you can't pass your book to your sibling. There's workbook inside a textbook where they have to write into it, so you can't pass it down to the younger sibling. It is stressful, it is draining. You are forced to buy the same book over again, even though the book is still in a good condition. Parents are asking, is this policy about learning or is it just about money? One mother with 4 children in secondary school broke it down just on school fees and textbook. She spends over 800,000 naira every term. Imagine, for a family where the father earns a modest salary and the mother runs a small business, that amount is almost impossible. Yet they try, because they know that education is the only investment that can change the future of their children. Another father in Jigawa said his child's school fees, that used to be 14,000 naira before, has now jumped to 20,000 naira. And he added, by the time I pay transport, buy uniform, feed the child, I'm spending far more than that. And let's not even forget transportation. With the rising cost of fuel and the introduction of new taxes on petrol, school runs have become another heavy burden. Parents who used to drive their children now complain that fuel is simply too expensive. Some have switched to public transport, but even at that safe, it has doubled or tripled in price. For parents who live far away from the school, it feels like an endless cycle of expenses. But Jigawa is not alone. Yes, they are not alone. Across Nigeria, the story is the same. In Rivers State, parents are begging for a textbook reuse policy. Not just Rivers State, everybody, we are begging. There should be a textbook reuse policy because they say buying new ones every year is draining them. In Ondo State, the government has banned graduation ceremonies in public schools, saying they are unnecessary and only add to parents' financial burden. They also encourage textbook reuse, but parents still say the relief is small compared to the mountain of challenges that they face. In Lagos and Abuja, where private schools dominate, the situation is even worse. Terrible. Parents say to put a child in a so-called good school, you must budget nothing less than 200k. That is for a child in nursery, crèche, play group, what they used to call them. You spend nothing less than 200k per child. Sometimes far more for a family with 3 or 4 children. That is close to 1 million naira just for a term. Add that to feeding, transport, house rent, and you can see why many families are drowning financially. And the question now is, what happens to the children whose parents cannot afford all of this? Will they drop out? Will they be left behind while their peers continue? And if so, what does that mean for the future of Nigeria as a whole? Because a nation that cannot educate its children is a nation that cannot grow. Parents are saying they are willing to sacrifice, they are willing to work day and night, but they are begging the government to make the burden lighter. because it's almost as if they want to just frustrate us in this country. Everything is just wrong. Some are asking for subsidies, some want public schools to be better funded, some want stricter control on how private schools set their fees. Others simply say, let us reuse textbook. At least, let us start with that one first. That one is very important. And reduce unnecessary expenses. As school reopens in Jigawa on Monday, parents carry both hope and worry in their hearts. Hope that all the sacrifices will one day give their children a brighter future. That one is another topic for another day, because you go through all this stress, finish school, to get a job is another task. It is well. But worry that if things continue this way, only the rich will be able to afford quality education, while the children of the poor are left behind. And we must ask ourselves, what kind of society are we building? If only a small percentage can afford to be educated, who will become the doctors, the engineers, the teachers, the leaders of tomorrow, if today's children cannot sit in classroom because their parents could not pay fees? That's the situation, my people. Jigawa schools are reopening. I think schools in Lagos will be resuming September 15. The struggle for parents is very real. Very, very real. What do you think? Are schools costs also rising sharply where you live? Are you able to cope? Or has it become almost impossible? Share your experience in the comment section. Let's talk about it. Please don't forget to like, to share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you for listening. See you some other time. Bye.